Oh, hello there. Welcome to my humble abode. Please, make yourselves feel at home. Pardon my asking, but would you be so kind as to allow me to trouble you with an inquiry? Thank you. Now with that out of the way, how would you define the term common? Would you say it is a thing or someone that is easily found in a majority of places? An event that occurs on occasion of relative frequency? That should something or someone be labeled as common, it is merely a standard of sorts. Miscrits is a virtual game that has a multitude of miscrits of various rarities. And in this video, we're doing legendaries only, baby! Now I know the last video was about commons. Obviously the smart thing to do was to do the next rarity above it, which would be rare miscrits. So why exactly am I doing legendaries only now? I don't know, I thought it'd be pretty fun. Alright, now let's get into the rules. First one, I can only use legendary miscrits. There's gonna be a small exception to this at the very start of this challenge. I'll explain a bit later. The second one, I have to get every legendary available. It wouldn't really be much of a showcase of legends if I just catch 4 of them and clear the entire game with those 4 legends. The third rule, platinum training, relics, and miscrit crates will be allowed for this challenge. Platinum training is pretty standard. You can use 1 platinum to get a bonus stat every level. Relics to give you more bonus stats in case I don't have the stats for a specific fight. But since I'm using legendaries, I will obviously try my absolute best to avoid using any relics. And lastly, miscrit crates will give us a random assortment of miscrits. And these will be our primary methods of getting a legendary at the start of this challenge. So this will be the only exception to rule number 1. Any miscrit given by a crate that isn't a legendary will be released, obviously. And finally, just for fun, you can use multiple of the same legendaries. So, you can go into the nature elementum with 4 blighted flues. I mean, it would be pretty unnecessary, but it would be pretty funny to look at. And with that, our challenge finally begins.
Wakey, 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 it's time for school. Come on. Wake up, it's time for school. Come on, man. Are you ready for school?
The forest guard gives us our flu, we disintegrate the cub sprout encounter. Now what? Well, the earliest legendaries we can actually hunt for are in the 4th area of the forest. That just leaves us with one way of getting them this early. Miscrit crates. How do we get these crates, you may ask? One method was to get them through codes, but thanks to a bunch of idiots who definitely do not shower, they wanted to re-roll their accounts till they get legendaries and sell those off to newer players. Literally anything but putting the fries in the bag, huh? And so that's why codes are now behind a level requirement. There is the 1 common crate at the random arena that only requires 1 win to get, so we have that chance to get, oh wait, you need to be level 100 to enter random arena. Well, that just leaves us with 1 source left, the item collection event. Here, we can exchange event currency that we obtain through wild battles and arena wins for great rewards. What I'm interested in are the miscrit crates. Now, this event has a total currency cap of 350. Taking into account each cost of the crates, that means I can get 1 gold crate and 1 bronze crate, 2 silver crates and 1 bronze crate, or 7 bronze crates. Now, I don't exactly know the real drop rates of these crates. I just assume that a bronze crate is something similar to a regular encounter. Therefore, from a bronze crate, my odds of getting a legend are... Again, to clarify, this is only what I assume. So let's get 7 bronze crates and see if those are enough to get a legend.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
Well, that's not good.
A few moments later.
Alright, second account. This time, let's do the smart move and get a gold crate. Gold crates are significantly more likely to give us a legendary. How likely? I don't know, maybe like 10%, give or take.
Putting for like 8 hours straight now of just farming this event. Please, any legend can work. I just need one so I can finally start this stupid challenge. Darknessy.
So, we finally have a legendary on our hands. Genocide. One of the Shack legendaries, so that ticks off hunting one of those legendaries in that area. Now, let's take a look at this legendary that we got. Genocide is actually pretty busted compared to other legendaries. Poison on their final hit, Switch Curse, Anti-Heal, Ethereal with HP Steal, Negate, and pretty great stats all around. Genocide can pretty much solo the entirety of the forest. But, before I take down the Nature Elementum, I still need to get Blighted Blue and Blighted Flower Pillar. So for the next day, that will be my goal.
The next day.
Believe it or not, it took less than an hour to get both Blighted Blue and Blighted Flower Pillar. Surely, this is a good sign for this run. And so I got these two leveled up and took down the Nature Elementum. That opens up Hidden Forest, which has the legendary Charpy, and the Mansion, which has Keeper and the Windy. I alternated between the three of those through the course of days. The first one to pop up was the Windy. Next was Keeper after another hour, and finally Charpy appeared after 3 more days of hunting. And with that, we can make progress on Mount Gemma. The 3 Magicite bosses went down smoothly. Now that leaves us with 2 more legends before the Earth Elementum. Dark Poltergust and Foil Croaky. Funny thing about Dark Poltergust unrelated to this challenge, how many of you realize that he actually has ears? He even has a mouth! On the following day, Dark Poltergust took about 3 hours to find, and Foil Croaky about another 5 hours. That means the Earth Elementum is finally open to be fought. Now, you may think Dark Poltergust would completely demolish Earth Elementum thanks to its hard-hitting final attack, and it would. But I had a funnier idea that came to me while I started this challenge all the way at the start.
I want to find out if the Windy's cleanse just permastuns the Earth Elementum to constantly just use his Switch Curse Paralyze skill.
And I was right. Till I wasn't. With the Earth Elementum down, that opens up the shores, the shack, and the cave. I won't be going to the shores just yet. I still need to get one of the shack legendaries, Beldame, and one of the 2 cave legends, Manio. I also decided that this would be a good time to go to the moon to get Meteorite. So that leaves us with 3 legendaries to hunt in total. Now it took weeks to get one of the 3 legendaries. Granted, through the course of those weeks, I only hunted for like an hour or 2, but the first one to appear was actually the legendary that I wanted, Manio. I've been in desperate need of a proper Miscrit farmer, and the 2 most valid for that role is Charpy and Manio. And my Charpy has piss poor stats to say the least. So hopefully this Manio is, we save our hammers for this exact reason. Oh, if you're confused on what I just did, this is a stat hammer. You can change the color of a stat with it. White is like the base stat, red has 9 less base stats, and green has 9 more base stats compared to white. There we go, that should be better. Getting Manio means I can beat Elena, and be able to hunt one of the best legendaries, Wooly. But not yet, I still need to get Meteorite and Beldame, or do people pronounce it as Beldame? After 4 more days, Beldame finally showed up. And Get this, after like 20 minutes, meteorite soon followed. Okay, alright, that means all 3 bosses are finally available to be fought. Since I was at the moon, I decided to beat Elena first. Damn, even with legendaries, this space squid is still proving to be a pain in my ass. Okay, not in that way. With Elena down, that means we can finally hunt for our goat, the one and only Wooly. And I kid you not, after like 30 minutes, I found him. And it is with a very shit-eating grin that I can tell you that I found another one after an hour. So this first Wooly is being retired as I get a hammer to make this one the best possible it can be. I also managed to kill a meteorite by accident. With Wooly leveled up, that means we can kill off Singularitas. Now we move on to get the other legendary in the moon, Voidatron. And it only took like 40 minutes to get him. Alright, we're on a legendary roll here. That just leaves us with one boss left in this section, Lil Nosage. Now I would say this fight would still cause me some trouble, but with the buffs to Keeper, it actually proved to be quite easy. For this fight, while also relying on Soul Siphon misses, I'll be using legendaries that have block on their final attack. That way, if the Soul Siphon doesn't miss, I can mitigate as much healing she gets since block doesn't give her HP back. And with Keeper stat Chaos, I pretty much have zero downtime on applying as much damage as I can. With her defeat, the basement sections of the shack are opened, and in the lower basement is where you'll find Geneseed. Now, I won't be hunting for another Geneseed, so it's off to the shores. The first Magicite goes down, and we instantly hit a speed bump, since the first Shores legendary is actually available immediately. Aquarion. Now, I've only ever hunted Aquarion twice in my entire time playing Miscrits. Once during Aquarion's first release, since I immediately got him S+, and the second time was when Miscrit Collections was added for the collection rewards. It took about 2 more days before he finally showed up, and with him, that means the second and third boss can finally go down, and now we hunt for Light Igneous. Now, this legendary. This one has always been kind to me. If I ever needed a legendary to hunt to lift my spirits up, I'd hunt Light Igneous. So after taking a break from the game for a bit and coming back, how long did it take? 2 hours. And after another 2 hours, I got another one, S+2. Pretty neat. Getting those 2 up, Wind Elementum proved to be nothing but another speed bump. With its defeat, that opens up Volcano Island and the Miscria jungle. That also leaves me with only 2 more legends to hunt, Bunnikin and Light Lavarilla. And since they're at the 4th area of the jungle, that means we have 3 bosses to mog. Now, the first boss, the Magicite Warden, I'm gonna try out a different strategy compared to the one that I used in common only. Since Mace Eraser is his most dangerous move and I need him to prioritize his elemental attacks instead, what will I do in order to make this happen this time? Well, it's my patented Wee Ball strat. Rather than going through the trouble of getting stat bonuses that would force him to do it, I'm just gonna go in there with Fire, Water, and Nature Miscrits to make sure he prioritizes his elemental attacks. Let's see who falls first. With the Warden down, that means it's time for the Herald. Now, I've been racking my brain around trying to come up with a strategy for a while for this very fight alone, since it's so much reliant on RNG with her sleep and confuse hits. That's when I actually figured something out. Did you catch that? Since her super buff only triggers once in the entire battle, and it's her only buffing attack, I can get her to trigger it at the very start of the battle and slowly reduce her accuracy again. That means I can beat her at a much more comfortable rate since she will be missing her attacks more often. Additionally, I can also lower her attacks as well, making her hit me for way less damage than usual. So for this strategy to work, I need my first Miscrit to not get hit by both Sleep and Confuse at the start so they can set up their minus accuracy debuffs immediately. I said I need my first Miscrit to not get hit by Sleep or Confuse. I need my first Miscrit to not get hit by... Oh, you gotta be kidding. Keeper, I swear to God, if you get 2 out of 2 again, I will buy an immunity relic, have full Croaky swap, have your and drown that immunity relic as lube and up your ass if you don't lock in. With the Herald's feet exposed, all that's left before we get to hunt the final 2 legends is Gourmand. Now, I did thought about doing the 0 attack stalling strat, but there's just one problem with being able to use it. The only legendaries that have a high enough attack lowering debuff skill are Blighted Blue, Blighted Flower Pillar, and Bunnikin. Blighted Flower Pillar is far too squishy to survive enough turns to lower its attacks, and Bunnikin is literally unobtainable till I beat this fat fuck. So that just leaves me with Blighted Blue. There has to be a better way. Tried different things out, they didn't work. Tried another thing out, it didn't work. Tried one more thing out, it didn't work. Maybe I need a change of angle. Okay, Gourmand has a skill called Buffet. It applies 3 turns of healing that restores 15 HP per tick. He will always at least restore 15 HP since 1 immediately ticks down. He can use this skill even if he only has received 1 damage. Surprisingly enough, Gourmand is the only boss to my knowledge that can be hit with anti-heal.
Oh my god.
So we can turn his Buffet against him. We wait for him to use Buffet, apply anti-heal, so instead of restoring 30 HP, he takes 30 damage instead. Now, we can also combine that with a damage over time effect, Bleeding. Thanks to anti-heal, Bleeding will get the stack as much as possible since the anti-heal prevents it from being cleansed as long as we keep applying more stacks Bleeding. And wouldn't you know it, we have 3 legendaries that can apply anti-heal and other forms of fixed damage against him. The team's lead will be Aquarion. Aquarion will have to do at least 1 damage so that Gourmand immediately activates Buffet. Then we can use Tentacle Trench. It applies bleeding and anti-heal. Repeat this till he dies so that Foil Croaky goes in. Foil Croaky has two means of dealing fixed damage against Gorman. The first one is with Foil Magic. It applies anti-heal and a healing over time effect. This skill can chunk Gorman for a lot of damage, especially if paired with its buffet. The second skill is Gem Reflect. It heals Foil Croaky for 20 HP and applies 3 turns of Barb onto itself. Since we're not lowering Gorman's attacks, every hit Gorman does to Foil Croaky, he takes minus 10 HP. However, since Foil Croaky's attacks have a recharge, we need to keep in mind when Gorman would reapply Buffet if Foil Magic won't be up for it. In that case, I will have to swap over to Geneseed. Gorman can apply a Buffet then, and Geneseed applies anti-heal the following turn. Then we simply apply as much sources of fixed damage onto Gorman with Geneseed, the poison on Geneseed's final, and Switch Curse. Okay, so now we have 3 Miscrits for this team. We just need one more to make that push so that we can beat Gorman. I thought about using Blighted Flu, since Blighted Flu has fixed damage on its final. However, Blighted Flu doesn't actually have an answer if Gorman applies Buffet again. So the next Miscrit that I found that would actually work for this team is Blighted Flower Pillar. Blighted Flower Pillar has Venom, a 3-turn poison that deals 14 fixed damage. So she applies Venom, then switch out into another Miscrit that has anti-heal in case Gorman applies Buffet again. With all of these pieces combined, let's see how it actually performs. And with that, the final 2 legends are within our reach just before we take on the Water Elementum. Between the two, Light Lavarilla is actually not that great for this boss fight. Gee, I wonder why. So I do hope that we can immediately get him so that we can focus our remaining time on the legendary that is actually great for the Water Elementum, Bunnikin. Bunnikin's role in Arena is a sniper, sometimes a bruiser, but mainly to hit fast and hit hard. Against the Water Elementum, Bunnikin will be our main tanking Miscrit. She is the sole legendary to have Intimidation, one of the best attack lowering debuff skills in the game. Next, Bunnikin also has a Cleanse plus Heal move to deal with the Water Elementum's 30 fixed damage poison. Bunnikin also has pretty great HP and defensive stats so that she can actually last long enough in the Water Elementum fight. Now, here's where that 4th will comes in. I want to try and beat Water Elementum with as many Bunnikins as I can get. This isn't really necessary to beat Water Elementum, I just think that it would be pretty funny to do and I needed thumbnail material, so why not? After a few days of running between the 2 locations, yes, this is what I did to hunt these 2 legendaries. Please send help. I found Light Lavarilla first. So, that just leaves me with this damned Venomade. Days have passed until finally, the first Bunnikin showed up. So all that's left now is to look for more Bunnikins before my mental finally breaks. I found another 2 in the same day. Okay, that should be enough for me. Let's take a look at our team. The first one, we got Bunnikin. The second one, we got Bunnikin. The third one, we got Bunnikin. And the fourth one, we have Woolly. The water elementum stands no chance. Let's try that again, shall we? And with that, every boss has been defeated using only legendaries. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, maybe hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment for the algorithm or so, something YouTuber things. The next one won't be a challenge video, but stay tuned, I got something special for that one. Till then, what about Shamrock? What? Shamrock, the Emerald Isle boss. It released like a month ago. Fine, I'll go do Shamrock. Since my stupid and lazy ass can't finish a video on schedule, a new travel agency area was released, the Emerald Isle, and with it, Shamrock, with its main gimmick being the brand new effect added by Emerald Isle, Time Bomb. As the name suggests, this effect will detonate after a number of turns, dealing elemental damage to the affected Miscrit. This effect can't be cleansed and will detonate regardless of what you do. The only way you can minimize the damage it deals is if you switch in a Miscrit that can resist the element of the Time Bomb. I spent a couple of days saving up platinum in order to afford the ticket, after which the Emerald Isle is now open to us. Now let's get into this fight. Shamrock has a very large pool of attacks, but most of them do the exact same thing, just with a different element. The first series of moves that it will use are the Luck O element attacks. Shamrock will apply a time bomb that your Miscrit is weak to that will detonate after 2 turns. So if your Miscrit is a nature Miscrit, it will use Luck O Fire. If it's a wind Miscrit, it will use Luck O Lightning. If the active Miscrit has a dual element, it will prioritize the first one out of the 2. In this case, either fire, water, or nature. Its next attack is Scepter Strike. It deals some physical damage and applies bleeding and a 999 attack power damage over time effect. After you get hit by this attack, your best bet is to always switch out to another Miscrit to not get hit by this absurd physical dot, and to resist the time bomb that will detonate after this turn. Shamrock will then repeat this cycle of attacks. Now you may be wondering, oh, maybe we can debuff him so things go a lot more smoothly. Well, he has a super buff called Enrage that will immediately increase all of his attacks by a stupid amount. So basically, no stat debuffs are allowed here. Another thing you might be cautious about is using Negate on your Miscrits when Time Bomb is about to detonate. Unfortunately, Shamrock has this spell, which hits you and removes all of your buffs, while also cleansing Shamrock of all debuffs and damage over time effects. Your best strategy is to simply hit him during the turn he applies the time bomb and switch out after he uses Scepter Strike. Repeat this until his HP reaches around 300 or lower. At that point, Shamrock will use Ancient Rage, cleansing all debuffs and damage over time effects while also applying a heal over time effect onto himself. Shamrock is immune to anti-heal, so you best make sure you still have a lot more damage you can dish out for this final stretch. Lastly, he gets access to a new move for this phase alone, Bag of Charms. This attack will attempt to apply a time bomb of each effect. Basically, he has 7 chances to apply a time bomb onto your Miscrit. Once you reach this point of the fight, it's best to just simply keep using your final attacks to deal as much damage before all of the effects that Shamrock applies to you kills all of your Miscrits. The best team setups for this specific fight are usually 3-element teams, with tanky Miscrits that have some sort of damage over time effect on their final attacks, so that they don't lose too much downtime when they're switching out. There's only one legendary available in Emerald Isle at the moment. I get it! And it's behind Shamrock. So if I want to complete this challenge, Shamrock needs to go down first. With Shamrock's defeat, only one legend is left before I can finally complete this challenge. Woolaboo. This fiend was a pain to hunt. It took like a solid 5 days before the very first one showed up, and I'm just gonna let this play out so you can see my live reaction to this.
Oh my god, finally. Finally. Oh god, that took so long. Oh, my head hurts. My head hurts. Okay, alright. Let's get this over with. Okay. He should survive this. Okay, alright, that's good enough. Okay, let's go. Oh, resist, damn. Okay. Let me try again. Actually, I think he can survive one more hit. Okay, alright. That's good enough. That's a bit more percentage. If this is payback for like my first 20-minute hunting this stupid thing, alright, fine. Fine, you got me. Alright? Spending days on this to be wasted by 2 resists? Alright, okay, fine. Fair enough. Whoever was playing on my downfall, whoever was praying for that I need you to buy some rope, a chair, find a secluded area, and
And after a few more days, it appeared again. And this fiend was still on its nonsense.
Oh god, not again, bro. Don't be like this again. Okay, thank God. Thank God. I don't think my head can handle that again.
Getting Woolaboo all leveled up, that means I have caught every single legendary and have beaten every single boss available. And with that, our challenge is finally... What about Glaukos? Glaukos. The horse it released like a few weeks ago. Oh, I got him a few hours after release. See? And with that, our challenge is finally, alright, no last minute things now, is finally done.